And Rico, this is for you too, bro, because it's coming out of Chi-Town. You know what I'm saying? Where everyone is turning red all of a sudden in Chi-Town. Shout out to all the people dropping their Democratic alliances and going over to the Republican side. But this has nothing to do with that, because a Chicago forensic testing lab accused of providing flawed results in marijuana DUI convictions, you guys. But is anyone surprised by this? I know I'm not. Because serious test questions about a Chicago lab could change the outcome of hundreds of impaired driving convictions in Illinois that could unlock the jail doors for some DUI convicts. After a months-long investigation, the ABC7I team discovered some of the test results from a prominent Chicago lab used by prosecutors have been deemed unreliable and could be inaccurate, you guys. That's right. The lab, University of Illinois Chicago Analytical Forensic Testing Laboratory, that's a long-ass name, is accused of providing flawed test results in cases of driving under the influence of marijuana, many of them resulting in motorists convicted and sent to jail, and there are allegations of a cover-up, you guys. Corey Lee of Sycamore, Illinois, was convicted in 2022 of aggravated DUI cannabis resulting in death. He crashed into another vehicle in 2018, killing a 52-year-old Pedro Pacilius Sanchez and 22-year-old Pedro Pacilius Delgado. In a quote, "There are two people that are no longer here, and that is something that is difficult to talk about," Lee told the I-Team from the Robertson Correctional Center in Southern Illinois. He admits having used cannabis in the past, but insists he did not use it before getting behind the wheel that day. In a quote, "I know that I was not under the influence that morning," he said. In a bench trial in Boone County, Illinois, a judge ruled otherwise, relying on a blood test result showing Lee's level of delta-9 THC, the main psychoactive compound in marijuana, at 6.5 nanograms. In Illinois, that's beyond the limit and is an illegal amount for motorists. In a quote, "The accrediting agency decided to audit the lab and then began to find a series of non-conformance or failure to follow scientific standards, which has now put about 1,600 cannabis DUI cases that they tested in jeopardy." Don Ramsel, criminal defense attorney, that's what he said. In an additional quote, "It's malfeasance, misdirection, and incompetence," criminal defense attorney Don Ramsel said. Ramsel, in a suburban DUI defense attorney, and is one of the lawyers representing Lee, who is now challenging his conviction, which was based on a test done by the University of Illinois Chicago Analytical Forensic Testing Laboratory. A Boone County court filing claims the analysis of blood tests was somehow flawed, resulting in inaccurate THC numbers, and was unable to distinguish delta-9 THC from other commonly encountered THC isomers such as delta-8. It also accuses the lab of covering up the flaws since, guess how long, Rico? 2021, you guys. Mm-hmm. In a quote, the University of Illinois Chicago, technically Illinois is known for, and Chicago is known for cover-ups, but nonetheless, in a quote, the University of Illinois Chicago lab has been providing misleading testimony in court, and as a result of that, their accrediting agency decided to audit the lab and then began to find a series of, they call them, non-conformance or failure to follow scientific standards, which has now put about 1,600 cannabis DUI cases that they tested in jeopardy, Ramsel said. For months, the I-Team has been digging through records that raise concerns about the lab's analytical methods and how tests were conducted for substances that determine whether someone is driving under the influence of marijuana. The tests should have been able to distinguish between delta-8 THC and delta-9 THC. I don't know how they're going to do that, but whatever. The substance that actually should be measured to determine if someone is driving under the influence according to Illinois law. In a quote, "This is what I would describe as a festering scandal," said Jim O'Donnell, a forensic pharmacologist with Rush University Medical School. O'Donnell's expertise as a forensic pharmacologist is typically used by defense teams in criminal trials, and in a quote says, The consequences are great. You know, there's people who are charged with felonies. Their life is certainly affected, and if they are convicted, they may end up in prison, O'Donnell said. In an additional quote, there are instances, unfortunately, where we have had bad apples in the system, but that's the role of the court and the role of the accreditation process to be sure they no longer do work. Bruce Goldberg said that from the University of Florida, professor of forensic medicine. And emails and internal communications obtained by the I-Team revealed the lab acknowledged testing problems last March and waited until May to alert police departments and prosecutors of possible flawed results. Of course, this sounds like the standard procedure. In a quote, the supervision of the lab also was what I would describe as not doing the job, not staying up to date, not dotting the I's and crossing the T's, and following the scientific requirements and scientific recommendations, O'Donnell said. Bruce Goldberg, a professor of forensic medicine at the University of Florida, said in his over 40 years of experience, lab scientists are good, credible people who want to produce accurate and reliable test results. I would actually agree with that. But in a quote says, people rely upon us as forensic scientists to do work that is reliable and defensible in court. And if we fail them, we fail the system, which could impact highway traffic safety, Goldberg said. There are instances, unfortunately, where we have had bad apples in the system, but that's the role of the court and the role of the accreditation process to discover these bad apples and get to them the isolated so that way they can be sure that they no longer do work. The University of Illinois in Chicago has now stopped doing tests for marijuana in law enforcement cases and issued the following statement, you guys. All get ready for this. The University of Illinois Chicago is aware of concerns raised regarding the testing of certain biological samples previously conducted at one of its laboratories. The university is conducting an investigation to examine the matter thoroughly, and as this is an ongoing process, we are unable to provide additional details at this time. UIC remains committed to upholding the highest standards of laboratory research, integrity, and compliance, and ensuring the well-being of the communities we serve. In a quote, it's really a culture where laboratory analysis and labs still feel they're above the law, that their mistakes are internal and not to be shared with the rest of us, Ramsell said. Sounds like they all think they're Hunter Biden. In the Corey Lee court filing, Ramsell claims the widely used lab discovered its testing flaws as far back as 2021, but kept it secret, and it wasn't disclosed. And in a quote says, I don't believe that the prosecutor or judge was wrong, but as far as the UIC lab, I believe that someone there should have to answer for this, Corey Lee, convicted of a marijuana DUI crash back in 2022. Lee was sentenced to 6 years in prison, and that is where he should stay, according to attorney Patrick Salvi, who represented the police's family in a 2020 civil case against Lee's employer. A Boone County jury awarded the Pasilas family $9 million, and in a statement, Salvi said, independent of any problem with the lab results, there was an ample evidence of reckless, and the expectation is the full 6-year sentence should be served by Lee, he said. Yeah. Lee said he believes he deserves some kind of punishment for what happened, but does not think incarceration is the right way for him to pay his debt to society. I mean, you killed 2 people, bro. What are you thinking? I mean, but nonetheless, in a quote, I don't believe that the prosecutor or judge was wrong, like they were, but they were doing their job. But as far as the UIC lab, I believe that someone there should have to answer for this, Lee said. States attorneys across the Metro Chicago area are already working to figure out which convictions were based on faulty lab results and how many defendants this actually may affect. And man, oh man, I just can imagine having a DUI in Illinois right now. Oh man, I'm gonna go find me a lawyer and make sure that I'm fighting my case and get my license back. But I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this. Dr. T, what do you think about all these faulty lab results for these people getting charged with DUIs in Illinois?
You know, it doesn't seem to me that the lab's the problem. The problem is this guy just drove poorly. And if you look at the evidence, THC content in blood or urine does not correlate with driving performance. So that's where I think the ABC News just missed the story. That's just like, why are they even using this as evidence? Guy drove poorly, killed some people. That's no good. And, ways to keep him from driving poorly in the future is really what we should be working on.
Hey, Jason.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you something.
Go for it.
I just want to know if this is too far-fetched. We had the story earlier from Cole. Shout out to the Cole Memo story he sent us earlier this week on the Illinois Supreme Court saying that cops now have probable cause off of odor alone. Yep. Do you think it's connected to this? They knew this shit was coming out.
No, because they're very two different things. I don't think these two things correlate. This is a scandal that's happening with these testing labs in regards with people. All
these people are gonna get off on DUIs. You got to replace these people.
Yeah, all these people are definitely they're definitely going to get off.
A lot of money.
They're definitely going to get off. But at the same time, there'll be more people that catch DUIs from the smell of fresh cannabis in their car. I find it super interesting that the state of Illinois distinguishes between the smell of fresh cannabis and the smell of burnt cannabis. And so,
if you're talking about sobriety, then you absolutely should, because until you put fire to it, it's not getting you high.
Well, Illinois's whole case yesterday, Jenny Beth, was all about fresh cannabis, not burnt cannabis, and that's what they were saying that they have the right for probable cause on.
Because they're looking at whether you've smoked it, and they're looking at whether you're high or not, or they're looking at whether you might be fucking taking 15
You're a little too sick yesterday to recall all of this.
Yeah, but I'm not. I'm gonna use the hard word. I'm not an idiot, Jason.
I didn't say you were.
We've already gone back and forth about why the difference between smoked and fresh cannabis matters, because if it smells strongly of fresh cannabis, one of two things could have happened. I could have gotten really excited on the way home from the dispensary, and I'm like, let me smell it real quick and pop my jar open. Or I could have 25 packs in the trunk. That's why they're searching for fresh cannabis. It's not about impaired driving. And I also want to say,
but they're charging people with impaired driving.
Hold on. I also want to say, fuck this guy, because you killed 2 people.
Exactly.
And you're trying to find any loophole that you can, so you don't have to fucking have your comeuppance.
I agree with that.
No. It's his lawyer's job to find those loopholes.
I understand, and shame on that sleazy ass lawyer.
No, fuck that. Salvy's the fucking man. He's my lawyer in a couple of cases.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this.
Salvy, Pritchard, and Stock.
Amazing. Don't think it's a good thing to do. 2 people are dead. So this guy needs to go sit down and think about what the fuck he's done.
He's been sitting down, Jenny Beth. He got a 6-year sentence.
He needs to continue sitting there and twiddle his thumbs and draw X's on the wall or whatever he's got to do. But 6 years
should be doing some push-ups.
Nothing compared. 6 years is nothing compared to the fact that these families will never have their family members again. They don't get to pop back up in 6 years because this guy.
I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that, Jenny Beth. That I think this guy should still probably do his 6 years. I mean, you killed 2 people. That's 3 years for each individual you killed. And they definitely had more than 3 years each left on their lives, judging by the ages of them. But
maybe we don't know all the circumstances surrounding that case. So
no, we don't. We only know what this is. But I do think that it is a unjust system of how Illinois gives people DUIs based off of these falsified results. And I imagine there's going to be a lot of backlog cases in Illinois in regards with anyone that I also wonder. No, probably wouldn't affect any alcohol cases. It would only affect cannabis cases. But anyone that got a cannabis DUI in Illinois, I mean, I think that they should in between 2021 and then, I think they got a viable case to have their charges dismissed.
Fair enough. I mean, like, listen, if we take the DUI part off, we take the cannabis part off, right? Isn't there still a separate charge that's called vehicular manslaughter?
I agree with you. I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. But I'm referring to people that, let's just say you didn't do anything. You just got pulled over and you got a cannabis DUI and nothing happened. You didn't hurt anybody or anything else like that. Adam Rico just dropped, so we got to do an adjustment.
I didn't drop.
Oh, well, someone dropped. Tell me, oh, Dr. T dropped.
Kenny just dropped again.
Oh, Dr. T just dropped. Dr. T just dropped. Man, my bad.
Hey, but I do got to go. Love y'all.
Much love, Rico. You have an amazing day today, my man. Yes.
I believe we've spent so long arguing how it's a good thing that somebody might get out of jail after killing people.
I didn't argue that. I'm arguing for all the people that just got normal DUIs, okay, that did not hurt anybody, that just received a DUI, and that's who I'm arguing for. I'm not talking about if you killed someone, yeah, you definitely got to go and do some jail time and sit down for a while, and you definitely should not be on the roads once you get out, for sure. You should be on your walking stick and whatnot.
Good thing for this guy, Chicago has a very robust public transportation system.
Oh, we just got a big old super chat, you guys, from the Cole Memo, who's out there in Illinois, firsthand experience out there, who says, a person from Sam agreed this lab is flawed. So holy shit, even Project Sam even agrees that this lab is flawed. I mean, the hell must be freezing over right now, Jenny Beth. What do you think about this, Jesse?
I could only echo what everybody already said. I don't have any new insight or anything to offer that wasn't said. It does suck that the DUI thing is happening to so many people. It also sucks that this guy's using that as an excuse to get off of something that's pretty heinous. Yeah, and the Cole Memo says episode 97 of his show, the Cole Memo, episode 97, features the testimony on this case, and so I encourage people to go ahead and check that out. Shout out to the Cole Memo. Much always holding it down. Oh, I do have two small announcements, you guys, that I want to mention before we close out.
Well, you better get them off because it's 10:33 and I gotta go.
I'm gonna get them off fast, Jenny Beth. So fast.
Creepy.
So fast. Where are you?
Heads up really quick. Ben Lubin over on X says the audio is better here than on YouTube.
Well, shout out to everyone on X, and shout out to everyone that stayed with us through the technical difficulties that we experienced on X today. And our friend Ingrid, who always is in here in the show, she is up for she is up for the U.S. Hemp and Building Association for their board of members, and so anyone that is voting with USHBA, we want to make sure that you vote for Ingrid on this topic. And I have one other thing that I meant to read a little while ago. A few days ago, and so I apologize for missing this, but we do want to end today's show in the memory of Avery, who used to be one of my vendors, true patriot in the cannabis space, and he was actually someone that caught a case delivering cannabis to Harborside for Steve D'Angelo, and Steve D'Angelo would not sign off on his thing with the court, and ended up doing 6 or 8 years because of the fact that Steve D'Angelo would not acknowledge that he was bringing cannabis to him when he was bringing cannabis to Harborside. And so I want to read this. She put this together. Avery was a true original, a fearless soul who lived the life to the fullest and left an incredible mark on everyone he encountered. Known to many in the cannabis industry as the pirate with a parachute, Avery embodied courage, passion, and a deep sense of purpose. That's because Avery liked to base jump, and I used to live at the top of Fox Plaza, which was at basically the 30th floor in San Francisco, and he did come over one time and said he wanted to base jump off of my balcony, and I told him no problem, just let me know. In the early days of the cannabis movement, Avery was a key figure at CARE in Oakland, helping patients access medicine at a time when it was still incredibly risky. Later, he made the bold and controversial decision to join Steve D'Angelo in opening Harborside. After Steve had long been a vendor at CARE, Avery's talent as a cultivator was unparalleled, and he introduced dispensaries to remarkable strains like Silver Star and Blue Dot, strains that became legendary in their own right. His Silver Star was fire. But Avery's heart went far beyond his work in cultivation. He used the proceeds from his success to build homes for those in need through Habitat for Humanity, and always finding ways to give back. In 2009, Avery was arrested while bringing medicine to Harborside and another San Francisco dispensary. When the dispensary owners failed to stand by their vendors, Avery paid the ultimate price, serving 7 years in prison for his commitment to providing cannabis before legalization. After his release, Avery returned with resilience and determination. He worked alongside Patty O'Brien, a longtime friend, and his brother, Alden Battlehoop, to help physically build the dispensary Canna in Oakland, a retail space that carried on Patty's vision for compassionate care. Avery's heart of gold and his unwavering desire to provide free medicine to those in need made him a true pioneer and a champion of the people. And today we gather in sadness, but also in celebration of Avery's incredible contributions to the cannabis movement, his unwavering love for humanity, and his lasting impact on everyone who knew him. Avery's spirit, courage, and kindness will forever inspire us, and may he rest in peace, and may we honor his legacy by carrying forward the work and love he poured into the world. And so shout out to everyone that knew Avery. Much love, and we want to dedicate this show to the life of Avery and all the work that he did.